I mean, I was stunned at the lack of knowledge the United States of America had about the situation in Afghanistan.
And that's the sad thing about this. The American people are left with the impression that the United States has almost amateurish intelligence collection capabilities at this point. Looking at Afghanistan, looking at the Wuhan virology lab, how could we produce intelligence products that were so inadequate as to leave us questioning whether or not we've got an intelligence service at all? I don't believe it for a minute. We have a very good intelligence service, and they collect well. Analysts will provide opinions and provide analysis, but as that analysis makes its way up through the upper ranks, it gets molded, it gets shaped, and ultimately it's decided by the administration as to how it's going to be presented. So don't think for a minute that we're shortchanged on our intelligence capabilities. So in some areas, Afghanistan, it was damaged, but I think there's a greater concern that decisions were made by ignoring the intelligence.
Okay, and Milley has got to be held accountable one way or the other because she's in charge of the Pentagon. Final question. I believe that from my knowledge of the situation, which is not nearly as good as yours, that there was research going on in the Wuhan lab about this COVID, and they were trying to, figure out how bad this was, and maybe we could make it worse, because biological weaponry research is done almost in every country that has any semblance of a scientific community, as you know. I mean, we did it out here at Plum Island on Long Island, where I live, okay? So I believe that research was going on, and then there, as you see in these crazy Hollywood movies, something went wrong. Some people got infected inside the lab, went out, boom. That to me is the most logical scenario. I don't believe the Chinese did it on purpose, released COVID on purpose, and that's what this internet nuts are saying all day long. What's your take on the likely scenario?
Well, and that's why we need an investigation to get to the likely scenario. But here we have a situation where a year and a half ago, most Americans had never heard the term gain of function, or even aware that this type of research is going on viruses to study them and perhaps make them even stronger, and in some cases, weaponized. We were all a little bit surprised at hearing at the extent of this, and then further surprised that there was cooperation between the United States government and the Wuhan lab to extent where there may be funding involved. And now there appears to be a lot of backtracking and even efforts to cover that up. So a lot of this is just too suspicious. I think, just to answer your question directly, it probably is a bridge too far to speculate that this was purposefully weaponized and released on the world, because it's hard to contain once that release happens.